Welcome to the Rare History Channel. Shocking and rare facts about Carlo Gambino that will leave you stunned. Carlo Gambino was a Sicilian-American mobster and boss of the Gambino crime family, which is still named after him. After the 1957 Appalachian Convention, he unexpectedly seized control of the Commission of the American Mafia. From his rise to power to his ruthless reign, we delve into 33 shocking and rare facts that will take you deep into the dark underbelly of organized crime. Brace yourself for a roller coaster ride of deception, violence, and unimaginable wealth. Get ready to be stunned as we uncover the hidden truths behind the enigmatic figure that was Carlo Gambino. Number 1. Gambino was born in Palermo, Sicily, Italy, on August 24, 1902, to a family that belonged to a Sicilian mafia gang from Passo di Regano. He had two brothers, Gaspar Gambino, who was not involved with the mafia, and Paolo Gambino, who was a part of the Gambino crime family. His parents were Italian immigrants Tommaso Gambino and Felice Castellano. 2. In 1937, Gambino was convicted of tax evasion, but had his sentence suspended. 3. He lived to the age of 74, when he died of a heart attack in bed in state of grace, according to a priest who had given him the last rites of the Catholic Church. 4. Gambino was born in the city of Palermo, Sicily, in 1902, to a family that belonged to the Honored Society. The Honored Society was slightly more complicated than the Black Hand of the United States, which was often confused with the American Mafia. 5. Once Benito Mussolini chased a large number of real mafiosi out of Italy, Italian Americans such as Gambino benefited from the new, better organized mafia. 6. Gambino began carrying out murder orders for new mob bosses in his teens. 7. In 1921, at the age of 19, he became a made man and was inducted into Cosa Nostra. 8. He was later known as an original. He was a cousin and brother-in-law of Gambino crime family mobster Paul Castellano. 9. He had two brothers, Gaspar Gambino, who was never involved with the mafia, and Paolo Gambino, who played a major role in his brother's family. 10. Gambino entered the United States on December 23, 1921, at Norfolk, Virginia, the lone passenger aboard the ship SS Vincenzo Florio, and an illegal immigrant. 11. He ate nothing but anchovies and wine during the month-long trip and joined his cousins, the Castellanos, in New York City. 12. There, he joined a crime family headed by Salvatore Toto d'Aquila, one of the larger crime families in the city. 13. In the early 1960s, Gambino slowly moved against the prominent Anastasia loyalists, headed by Capo Regime Armand Tommy Rava. 14. Gambino quickly expanded his rackets all over the country. New Gambino rackets were created in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, Boston, San Francisco, and Las Vegas. 15. In the 1960s, the Gambino family had 500 soldiers, within 30 crews, making the family a $500 million per year enterprise. 16. In 1962, his eldest son Thomas Gambino married the daughter of fellow mob boss Tommy Lucchese, the new head of the Gagliano crime family, whom Gambino would become close to as a partner, friend, and relative. 17. It has been theorized that Gambino went so far as to organize the shooting of Joseph Colombo, the head of the Colombo crime family, on June 28, 1971. 18. Gambino was the only mob boss of the 5 families who attended the burial of longtime friend, Charles Lucky Luciano. 19. On January 26, 1962, Luciano died of a heart attack at the age of 64 at Naples International Airport. He was buried in St. John's Cemetery in Queens in February 1962, due to Luciano having another funeral in Italy and for the time it took to transport his body back to the United States. More than 2,000 mourners attended his funeral, where Gambino gave his own speech in memory of Luciano, his friend and companion. 20. In December 1972, a van marked Organized Crime Control Bureau began to park outside Gambino's home in Brooklyn. In the van, the FBI's mob squad monitored events inside the house using cameras, lip readers, and audio surveillance equipment, including microphones and wiretaps that were planted in Gambino's home. 21. The FBI maintained 24-hour standby in the van, hoping to connect Gambino to organized crime. However, Gambino continued to conduct business in the home using a combination of silent gestures and coded language. 22. According to FBI officials, they once recorded a meeting between Gambino, Aniello Delacroce, and Joseph Biondo, where Biondo said only, "frog legs," and Gambino simply nodded. 23. In May 1972, Gambino's nephew Emmanuel Manny Gambino was kidnapped by James McBratney, Crazy Eddie Maloney, Warren Chief Sherman, Richie Chison, and Colombo crime family associate Thomas Genovese. 24. On December 4, 1972, Robert Center was arrested and charged with Gambino's murder. Center was a gambler and had fallen in debt with Manny Gambino. 25. In his last years, Gambino still ruled his family and the other New York families with an iron fist, while keeping a low profile both from the public and law enforcement. 26. He had to choose who he would appoint as his successor after his death. 27. He chose his brother-in-law and capo, Paul Castellano, over his underboss, Aniello Delacroce. Delacroce, while disappointed, trusted the Godfather's judgment and remained silent. 28. Gambino died in the early morning hours of Friday, October 15, 1976, at his home in Massapequa, New York, having watched the television broadcast of the New York Yankees winning the American League pennant the previous evening. 29. His funeral mass was held on October 18, 1976, at the Church of Our Lady of Grace in Brooklyn. Gambino was then entombed within his family's private room in the cloister building of St. John's Cemetery, Queens in New York City. 30. He is interred beside his wife, Catherine, who had died in 1971. Gambino left behind sons Thomas, Joseph, and Carlo, and daughter Phyllis. 31. In 1931, Carlo Gambino played a significant role in the Castellamarese War, a bloody conflict between rival mafia factions fighting for control of New York City's criminal underworld. Gambino strategically aligned himself with Salvatore Maranzano and eventually orchestrated Maranzano's assassination, solidifying his power and eliminating his rivals. 32. Carlo Gambino was a key player in the formation of the Commission, a governing body that united the different mafia families and regulated their activities. Gambino's influence within the Commission allowed him to exert control over various criminal enterprises, ensuring his dominance in the underworld. 33. Carlo Gambino orchestrated the assassination of Albert Anastasia, the notorious boss of the Mangano crime family, in 1957. By eliminating Anastasia, Gambino eliminated a powerful rival and further consolidated his power within the mafia.